First, I'd like to take this time to thank faceofcaw for granting me this interview time to shamelessly self-promote and media whore myself. So hopefully I'll get some more caw fans and more hits justifies this hobby. I've been an Arizona resident most of my life. I lived in LA for a little while. I lived in Austin, Texas, but forces of nature always bring me back here. I worked in radio for a while. I've done all sorts of crazy retail work and whatnot, but you know, this hobby here is a nice little niche for me. Extraordinarily hard for this match because your ego is on the line when it comes to a match like this. Nobody. Well, I would have to say I'm a long-time fan of old-school 80s NWA wrestling back when it was run by Jim Crockett Promotion. And for those of you who were around during that era, YouTube is an infinite source of that. And what I did was loosely, the fictional characters I came up with, I agonized in the sense of let's try not to copy everybody else, and the fictional personalities, how they would interact, and so, and I kind of used the NWA from like 1984 to 1990 as sort of a I would say is a primary inspiration for what I do, as far as, the direction of things. In 1986, the Road Warriors faced the Midnight Express and at Starrcade in a scaffold match. And that was a big part of the influence for why we had the scaffold match between Cade Skywalker and Superman Prime. Ever! Code of Cade! Cade Skywalker retains! OMFG! I can't believe this! Well, you kind of have a hard time to not love to hate Superman Prime. Fuck you, Superman! Prime, fuck you in hell! I'm a huge DC comic mark, so, having that unsquashable guy that, everybody needs to gang up and beat up on and is easy to hate, how can you not love that type of character? Cade Skywalker's a close second. I like the fact that we have Superman Prime, who's sort of an anti-villain, whereas Cade Skywalker is an anti-hero. For those of you who don't follow the Dark Horse series Legacy, that's where I got Cade Skywalker from. And as far as like expanded Star Wars universe, it's a shame that series doesn't get the attention that some of the other things have, such as Force Unleashed and Knights of the Old Republic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about. Yes, but I would like more. I took Zachary Daiquiri's advice when he posted his advice, so, you want to start a caw league. And I do the same thing. I promote myself. I hit message boards. I need to get a message board / website up myself. I'm just not a very good website designer. And, I would like to get more hits, obviously. I mean, who wouldn't? I would say I'm a huge fan of No DQ, obviously. SMF, SCAW, DWA. I saw that stuff and I was like, you know what? I could do that. Minus the time-consuming effort, it's a labor of love that I do enjoy doing. So, if I were to say there was a particular inspiration, I would say a hybrid of all of them. Charlie Brown's leg? Maybe giving him a Charlie horse? Ha ha! I would say Bizarro Murphy is someone I would love to have. But, you know, when it comes to people who are cause their staples and other colleagues, I want to try to use other cause from other colleagues as sparingly as possible. I mean, there was Fonzie, and you know, I just kind of had him to job, and I kind of overlooked that Fonzie was in a colleague. Rod Kimball from Slam and Jam. That's someone I would love. I could see so many different things I could do with that character. Those are just a couple, but in all reality, I try my best to steer clear of using other people's cause. When I used M. Bison, I based it off the fact that when he retired in Blood, Sweat, and Tears 3, the outcry of fans being like, you know, no, don't go, and I was like, you know, I can exploit that and use that to my advantage. And so we created Bison, and needless to be said, he's making some serious waves. Also, being a huge Street Fighter fan, you know, I like having him and Akuma and Seth in there because they're all bad guys from the Street Fighter universe, and they're guys who, well, Seth, I don't think anybody uses him. Akuma, some places scattered about randomly, but Bison, that's a Street Fighter character that's got tons of substance. Some 6-man tag team action coming your way. Well, I found him from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. For those of you who haven't seen that movie, it's the second to last Kevin Smith Jerseyverse movie, and it's played by Mark Hamill. And I was just create a move when 2010 came out, and I was like, I want to do something really all sorts of extra painful violent, something that when that move gets hit, it's gonna hurt just to watch it. And then I did that, and Cockknocker was born, and the NCA. I like all of them, so it's hard to say which one is my absolute favorite. I'd have to go with No DQ.
A one-night tournament will take place to crown an undisputed No DQ CAW champion. 8 former No DQ CAW champions, 1 future No DQ CAW champion.
You know, I won't rule anything out. If there's a following behind it, I'm gonna do it. I've stuck with mostly fictional characters and real-life characters, so I'm gonna have to think about how he would fit into the NCA mold. So I'm not saying no, but I will say I will consider it, and yeah, play it by that one. I was actually a wrestling promoter. Now, if you go to AZWO on YouTube, if you look, do a search, that was a wrestling promotion I actually promoted. Only reason that promotion didn't take off, I saved up $2,000, and it was something I've always wanted to do, is promote wrestling. And doing a colleague is very much kind of in the same vein with that, only it doesn't cost me anything except for the price of the game. Doing a wrestling show, if you want to do a good show that's going to do justice, you're looking at spending $2,000 easily. So I don't do that anymore. I would love to if under the right circumstances. But doing my colleague is sort of feeds that addiction. And I hope that answers all your questions. And also, I would like to say, without Joe Nomak, NCA would not be possible. And that's a guy who needs... I am computer illiterate when it comes to video editing. I just basically say, hey, let's tape stuff, you make stuff happen. And you edit this into there, and... So, mad props to Joe Nomak. Once again, mad props to faceofcaw. I love what you're doing, and I can't thank you enough because you're bringing other people's colleague to attention to people who would otherwise not know about it. It's a really awesome thing you're doing, and pat yourself on the back. You effing roll. Once again, I'm JUNSTIN71, and thank you for listening to me shamelessly media whore myself.